The Surge is a game I have an undeniable love-hate relationship with. It does a lot of things right, and it does some stuff wrong. Unfortunately, the stuff that, in my opinion, it does wrong is the stuff that stuck with me until I revisited it. The stuff that it did right, though, stood out when I played it the second time more recently. So what was right, what was wrong? I don't know, but I'm going to talk about it. The game is one of the few games with wheelchair gameplay. Unfortunately, you don't ride around and murder from a wheelchair the whole game, which is a missed opportunity. Instead, you hop around as a deranged spree killer named Warren, who just wants to chop the limbs off everyone in sight, which somehow ties into the gameplay. The combat in The Surge revolves around dismembering your coworkers so you can get their tools because they're cooler than yours. Dave have a weapon you like? Chop his arm off and it's yours. See some cool chest armor on Greg over there? Chop him in half and it's yours. This isn't the case for the robot enemies, so we don't bother fighting them unless we have to. Weirdly enough, though, you can chop the limbs off of nanomachine monsters, so I don't actually know the rules. The variety of enemies in the game isn't that great. It comes down to regular guy, drone, three-legged robot, floating robot, and nanomachine blob. Most of the enemies are just regular people that got their brains melted, so most of the time combat consists of chopping off their unarmored limbs quickly. The rest of the time you're smashing the same three robots. Well, there may not be a lot of variety in the enemies, but at least there's a lot of variety in the bosses. Just kidding. There are 5 bosses, and one of them is just the first boss multiple times, so there are kind of just 4 bosses. Big Mech Robot Guy. Firebug, Crane, regular enemy that summons the first boss, and the final boss, which becomes a regular enemy.
This is a witch hunt!
The Firebug is probably the coolest boss and drops the best twin-rig weapon in the game, so shoutouts to that one. The Crane boss is cool because when it shows up you can see it roll in slowly, and it fits because it's a dang crane in a big dang factory. And the Firebug can be seen flying around until you see it go down this hole, and you go down there, and eventually you fight it. It's like, these are just factory machines that went out of control, and it's cool, and I like it. It's just disappointing because that ain't the case for the other bosses. The rest all kinda suck, with a lot of hate directed at the regular guy summoning the first boss. It's such a dumb fight. You hit a regular enemy until he becomes invincible, and then he summons the first boss, and you gotta kill the first boss, and then you repeat until he's dead. It's like, come on, it's not even a real boss, it's just lame. Now the final boss, that one's pretty easy. The lame part is that it starts out kinda cool, but it just becomes a man-sized regular enemy for the second half. And it's just jumping away from him and hitting, and it's really boring. Just let your bosses be cool and don't have it be a regular enemy, like, come on. It's got some neat music which really helps set the tone of the game. And the insane screaming enemies help that point even further.
Enjoy a 2-week vacation in less than an hour with me.
Alright, enough talking about what I like. This is a video about how the Surge ruined my day. Forget everything I said, I hate this game. Or at least I did. My issues truly begin in the research floor when you encounter Dr. Evil Scientist. Mostly because he introduces the new enemy, which is a regular guy who looks like a robot, but you have to kill it twice. He also tries to give a speech about how good and evil are the same, and he tries to call me a good guy, so I murder him to prove I'm morally gray. After that encounter, things mellow out for a while, and you get to fight normal enemies in neat environments. But then, you make it to the final area of the game, the Nucleus. This place pretty much ruined me. Something about the design and the layout turned my brain off and made me go into a primal rage. I didn't know where I was or what I was doing, and the enemies were so fun. The two new guys were Spinny Nanomachine and Blob Nanomachine, and both were horrible to fight. The Nanomachine blobs were such a pain to fight that I didn't kill a single one, and the Spinny guys were such a pain to fight that I only killed one so I could have a clip of it. They took the cool part of fighting, which is limb targeting and dismemberment, and just said, nah, we ain't doing that anymore. Plus, you still have the guys that get up after you kill them, so the whole area is a huge pain to navigate with annoying enemies that waste your time and health. The only redeeming feature of the last level is when you're actually in the launch room, which is overrun with nanomachines, which makes it look like this cool alien structure. I wish they had done more of that and less of the multi-level power panel garbage that I experienced. I don't hate the Surge. In fact, I do like it. I never want to play it again, but it's gonna stick with me forever. Maybe that's because of the emotional scarring or something. I don't know, just go play it.